Hello everyone, welcome along to another episode of BVI Pilots Podcast. As usual, it's me and Johnny with you today.
What is going on, everybody? Glad to be here.
We've all had a good 2 weeks since we last spoke to you. I got to say, not a whole lot's happened within the community, which is
I almost forgot we were recording today, man. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was kind of like, is it a podcast day or not? No, I couldn't remember if we'd done one last week, and turns out we didn't.
I couldn't remember. No.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, things have quietened down a little bit from the pace they were going at before, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because TFM and all the new stuff we were finding, the sound stream and whatever, you know, they were coming pretty thick and fast. We slowed down a little bit. But we have a few things to talk about, and I think in the next episode, 2 weeks' time, we'll be a little bit busier. We might even have a guest on, but we'll see how that goes with setting that up for them to get on and speak to us.
Yep. I'm hoping so. It'd be fun.
It'd be cool if we could arrange what we're hoping to arrange. So we will talk a little bit about TFM and the updates that have happened. It's not had any updates over the past couple of days because Andy and Jason had some PC issues. But before then, there were some updates made. One was the left bracket thing, right? I think that was made.
Yeah. The left bracket was made, and the fuel and payload manager add-on.
Yeah.
That was pretty huge for everybody.
Yeah. So for those of you having problems managing your fuel and payload in the P3D manager, I don't blame you. It's not very accessible. It is more accessible in FSX. But
yeah.
Or for those of you who are struggling with getting the fuel correct, now TFM can do it for you. So you can see the payload and the fuel sections, and if you really want to, you can take your block fuel figure from SimBrief that it gives you, and you can just enter it right into TFM. If it's in pounds or kilograms, you can change it to metric in the settings. Either way, you can enter it, and it will automatically put the fuel into the right tanks for you.
The most you got to do is when you do your flight report, you listen carefully, because you have to know the fuel. You've got to get that information. If you don't get it, the payload's not going to be like, yeah, okay, you're going here, so we're going to give you this. You got to know what your block fuel is, which is pretty, I think everybody does, but I always like to put it out there just in case you get that one person that said, well, it doesn't work. It does. You got to know what your block fuel is, or else you're going to be stuck. But I would say between P3D and FSX, it's a long shot of how much better it is, because FSX, I mean, I can use it all day long. You can use it, no problem. I mean, I don't have any problems with it.
P3D new people had problems finding it because of course you had to know how many times to hit the arrows, and once you figured that out, you could get into it, and you had to object nav to find the tank name or the payload station name. So it was still a little bit more awkward in P3D than it was in FSX.
I remember when I was using P3D, gosh, and I had to use that thing. It was a pain in the butt, but you know what I've noticed, Declan, is after even the things that we find to be complicated, once you tackle it over and over and over, it becomes something where you're like, oh, well, that's not so bad. But then everybody else is like, man, how do you do that? It's just a matter of getting used to something. But now we don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, it was the same thing with doing the maths for the fuel, right? I mean, I would still say TFM's feature is great for newbies. If you think, how do I separate the fuel out to an aircraft so that we are balanced properly, or how do I set it up so that it is all correct? I mean, I don't know how well TFM does with the balance of the fuel, but you got to have I think it works pretty well. You got to have the same amount in the left, the same amount in the right. And if you need the center, you need the center, but you can't be off balance. And in general, it's pretty simple maths, right? I mean, you just round it
Yeah.
up and you just divide it.
Even now, I've used the new fuel manager, but I'm so used to doing the math in my head and calculator at times to where I'll even still look at the tanks to see, because I'm just used to it. I'm used to doing the math. It's like,
Oh yeah, it's good to double
you know,
check that it's done it
and
right.
I know it's going to be right. You know, we know it's right, but with us, it's it's just habit. You know.
Yeah.
You don't put fuel in your center tank if you don't need it. Someone said, "Well, you got to have fuel in the center tank." That is incorrect. I'm just going to put that out there now. You got to have it in the wings. If anything, let's say you put it all in the center tank and nothing in the wings. Guess what? You're not flying.
Yeah, that's
You're
not a
not
good
flying.
thing to do.
You're going to have some problems because the wings is way more important. So, anyways, now you don't got to worry about it other than putting in your fuel for your block fuel, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
So another big add-on that Jason did, and you know, we're all thankful for
Yeah.
it. Even those of us that didn't need it as much, we still like it. We still use it. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I'm setting up for a flight, I can do it twice as fast now. I don't have to mess about with the fuel. I think it's good for people to get an idea of how the fuel works. You know, and especially in the bigger aircraft where you got lots of tanks, have a look how it's done it, and maybe try to do it yourself. I mean, it's a part of flying. Pilots don't just get to the aircraft and say, okay, fuel us, and then that's done, and you just go. I mean, you have to know where the fuel is and how much you've got, even if you didn't load it yourself. You've got to know those things. It's just good knowledge to know for your aircraft.
Exactly. You know, I was thinking that, and today we're kind of, you guys, we're kind of doing a free-for-all type of podcast. We didn't have a lot to go on, but I did think it's something that I wanted to throw out there.
Okay.
And this has got to do with FSX. There were a few people saying that, you know, weather don't work with FSX. That's incorrect. The Active Sky Next add-on does work. And I figured it out just the other day. You have to run the FSX Active Sky Next configuration tool, and you run that, and that's all you got to do. Once you get that downloaded, you run your sim, put your plane where it needs to be, and run that. And I don't know if that's what you do, Declan, but that's what I do, and it works.
Yeah, I actually use Active Sky 2016, but it's the same principle. You just, when your sim's open, you launch it. I have to say, some people have had some problems with it, and Jason actually figured out probably what they are. He was actually running the Windows Insider builds, the preview builds, and he's gone back to the stable builds of Windows, and it's working. So it's probably something with those that was causing people's issues.
I wonder what the difference is between what you've got and what I got. I wonder if it's just what I got is well, yours is Steam too, right? A Steam. Did you go through Steam to get it, or?
So I got Active Sky 2016 for several reasons. It's actually not through Steam. It's a standalone application that I got from Hi-Fi, the people who make Active Sky, because it works with P3D and FSX. So I figured if ever I needed to switch to P3D or vice versa, I would have something that worked with both. And it also comes with something called the Web Companion, which is like a web layout that shows you the weather for your flight.
I like that, yeah.
The old Active Sky, Active Sky Next,
which is what I got.
Yeah.
No, the most I can do on mine is, and it's doable, and that explains why it's so much cheaper. Because I think it was only like $16, maybe.
Yeah, it still puts the weather in the same. You know, you still get the same weather as me. It's just, I guess that the Active Sky 2016 has a few little extras and things.
I do wish that I could see like what the wind is going to be on the ground, what the cloud density is, stuff like that. So maybe at some point I'll update that. Real quick, what was the process of installing that, Declan? Did you have to do a bunch of stuff or?
No, it's just a general exe. You run it, you install it through a process which is a standard install process, and then you get a tool. You can configure your options, and then you're good to go. I mean, see what you can do. I don't know if you can do this with your Active Sky Next, but what I can do is if I go to FSX's menu, go to add-ons, there's a thing in there called Active Sky Weather Request, and if I hit on that, TFM will read a menu and it'll say, do you want the weather for your departure, your arrival, or en route? If you hit departure, it's going to tell you the cloud density and the blah blah blah. All the weather. I don't know if yours does that. You have to try it.
If not, you've done sold me to get this other Active Sky 20. See, I had 2016, but I think the one I had was only for P3D.
Yeah, you have to take a look and double check. I'm not sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
But weather is important, especially I like to fly what the weather really is. I know you do too, so and for others, if someone's telling you it doesn't work, my point was just to make sure that people realize that it does work.
Oh yeah, it does work. Yeah, it connects to FSX just the same. I mean, I guess Jason was having issues because of the something that was different in the Windows build. I don't know, but either way, it was it will work for FSX and P3D. So that's Active Sky Next, and I recommend the 2016. The only reason I recommend that is just because, although it's a bit more expensive, like I say,
you get more options.
Yeah, you get more options, and it will work with P3D too. If you ever needed, for whatever reason, to switch, maybe in a couple of years, P3D does something better, and you say, okay, I'm going to switch back to P3D. You can still use the exact same product that you bought.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that there's not many other I mean, there are other weather apps out there, but I'm surprised that there's not as many as what I thought there would be, because, I mean, an add-on could even grab Google Weather. That's simple, but I guess it's not a high demand thing for...
We'll get someone emailing us now saying, can TFM add a weather feature?
Yeah, exactly.
A live weather feature. No, but I guess Active Sky just does it so well that there's not been a need for that. I don't know. Yeah, it's. I thought maybe there'd be more, but it's pretty much just Active Sky. I mean, there's some free ones around that do it. I think, just not all that well.
Yeah,
so.
I've been there and done it, and they suck.
Yeah, they're not great.
You what's that saying? You get what you pay for.
Exactly.
Well, that is so true. Speaking of pay. And speaking of Jason, the developer of TFM, originally, the original developer of TFM. Now we got Jason and Andy. As everybody knows, we get the downloads from bvipilots.net/TFM
dash snapshots. Yeah.
But what's happened because of the builds and all that, they was using a free account for whatever it's called that they're using the company or account that they use to do all the releases and all that. Well, they've ran out of they had ran out of space, basically, of how much they could upload. It wasn't really what we was doing, it's what with them being able to release stuff to us. So they have updated to a paid version, and I think it'd be nice that as long as people know that they do accept donations. I just want to throw it out there that if you're a simmer and you can you can afford it, give them $5. It don't even matter, $5, $10, whatever.
Yeah,
you know, every dollar helps.
You don't have to be crazy like Johnny with the donations. You can give him anything you got.
Yeah, yeah, like the one day I donated, and Jason's like, "Oh, Andy, it's nothing, it's just $5."
Yeah, right.
It was more than that, obviously, but he was just messing with him. But I mean, it does help.
Every bit helps, you know. Yeah.
You know, it's like what we do. You know, there's a keep up that we have to manage and the work we have to do. So, you know, we don't tell people, "Oh, you got to donate," because you don't. But every dollar helps on both sides. If you want to help Jason and them, that's great. You want to help us, that's great. We don't care. It's not about the money.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever mentioned this, but we do have a PayPal. It's the paypal.me/BVI Pilots, I think. So
yeah.
Sorry, is it BVI Pilots Podcast? I'll double check that before the end of the podcast. I'll let Johnny do a bit of talking. I'll double check.
And when he's looking at that, what I'll do is I'll put it on our website too, so we'll have it up there. That way, if you guys do want to donate, give us your money. Just give us your money. Empty your pockets. You can't take the money with you when the world ends, so just give it to us. We'll take care of it for you.
We'll sort it out, you know. Yeah, but you know, just for the behind the scenes work, you know, the editing of the podcast, all the little things that you don't see, the organization, the getting guests on, and creating plans for each week, you know, just the little things. You know, we don't just hit record and then stop and that's it. It takes a little bit of time.
It does. I mean, before I got into recording, I never understood how much it actually is involved. And I remember I used to do these recordings for like. What do they call it? Where you got like sound effects and all this other stuff. And it takes time. It takes time to edit all that stuff, man. I'm like, wow. When I got involved in it, now I'm in it and I love doing it, but it takes time.
Yeah.
And you know, we put a lot of time into this. Not 24/7, but we do put time into it. We do got to discuss it, and we do got to do different things, and there is an upkeep for the server, for the website, for all that stuff. So, you know, you want to throw us $1, go for it.
Feel free.
Now, what somebody smart send us $1.
Probably.
So we're like, here's your $1.
Thanks for that. Here's 50 cents, Johnny. Like, what are we gonna do with that?
But yeah, so. Throw donations our way. Throw them to Jason and them as well. We'll get their information for you as well. I believe it's. I believe you can go. I believe it's PayPal.me/JFair if you want to send it to
JFAYRE. I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, FAYRE. Yeah, JFair. Yep. So.
Yeah.
Do it if you can. If you can't, we're not going to judge you about it. But just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah, and I'll double check our thing. So, and in terms of upcoming on TFM, Jason is now working on the A2A stuff. For those of you who'd like the A2A Cessnas, Beechcraft, whatever, that is going to come to the new version. Well, I mean, it's not going to be easy for him to do, so I'm not going to say shortly, in terms of a couple of days or something, but it's been worked on. You're going to start to see things come through over the next weeks and months.
You know, I do like the A2As, even though I don't fly them on the BVI Virtual because there's not much money, I don't think, in that, on that side of things. I don't know. Maybe I can get us a Cessna or something that I'm used to flying, not the Bonanza, God forbid.
Yeah, we got a Bonanza for someone, but they didn't really fly it, unfortunately, so we sold that. But if people really start enjoying it when the new TFM stuff comes out, you know, it's not cheap. It's not expensive to get these planes.
There's one I did like. It was an A2A, but it was a turboprop, and I think it was was it a Cessna, like a Cessna 180 or 280 or something like that.
The 182, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah,
maybe the 182 it's a pressurized cabin and stuff, and I really like flying that.
I think there was like a 340 something you gave once. a Cessna 340. I don't know if
Yeah,
that was
that's what it was. Yeah,
that
I
one.
like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah. I don't think
If you're
TFM
gonna make
has
money through
support for that
BVI
yet,
virtual,
but I'm sure it could do.
it would have to be something more than like just a little Cessna because
Oh yeah, we're
who
not
you
buying
gonna
little
fly?
bitty Cessnas. It's gonna either be a 6 or 7 something passengers, so you can do tiny little flights with lots of passengers in a day, or it'll be a prop plane that can carry packages, on little short flights.
Yeah, kind of like that one guy on YouTube. If you've never seen him, his first name I think it's Stevio
Canevo or something. Yeah. He's TBM.
Yeah, he flies up and down the Florida coast or whatever.
Yeah.
Always going up and down, up and down. But it would have to be something, not just a two-person jet. I'm not going
That'll lose money.
Plane.
Yeah.
I'm not, we've already almost lost money due to a non-commitment of a pilot that guaranteed I'm going to fly that. I won't say names, but don't commit if you're not going to do it, people. That's all I'm going to say. Don't make commitments if you're not going to do it.
Yeah, that's why we had to sell the Bonanza. Unfortunately, it just didn't get flown by anyone, so we sold it. But
unfortunately,
okay.
I think we lost a little. We didn't lose a lot, I don't think, but
it was a little bit, like 50,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is more than just a little, but
it was a bit annoying. But what can you do? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of the link I checked, it is BVI Pilots. PayPal.me BVI Pilots. That was correct.
Okay, there you go. So send us all your money, and
we expect it. There's not going to be any podcast till we reach at least.
That's right.
About 100,000.
And listen, if you don't do it, when the world comes to an end, you will not be welcome to join our bunker when that time comes. It'll just be, it's just going to be me and Declan and the managers and everybody else that didn't donate. They're going to be outside the door.
Yeah.
And we're going to say, you didn't donate. You didn't donate. Oh, gosh. Listen, if you guys got questions for us, believe it or not, it helps us with more topics. So, send us emails, not books, okay? Emails.
Yeah.
We want emails, not books.
Right, yeah, we do. I mean, so, if you got an idea, even if you think it's, maybe you want to come on the podcast and you think you don't know if it's going to be worth it. Well, we always have one guest on the podcast, but maybe we do more, even if you think it's just a 5-10 minute thing that you want to come on for and talk about that you've done, or an add-on that you've found that no one else has used, whatever, drop us an email and we'll think about it. If it's an idea or a question, it's got to be emailed to us.
You know what would be interesting if we could get 2 people on and do a debate.
Oh, God, yeah. Where are you going
to... P3D, FSX, and
opening statements from FSX,
2020.
Please. Oh, Microsquash, yeah, we'd only have one person do it, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
As long as it's not like the Trump
humor.
Debate. As long as it's not like debate. The Trump and Biden, where you got the moderator and everyone's going, no, what the hell are you on about?
We're going to get interrupted every time we try to ask a question. They're going to overspeak us.
Yeah, we need a better moderator for a start. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, we don't need that guy. Oh my gosh, man.
The last thing
was left bracket. The left bracket.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah.
So, what is there? There's here's what I know, and Declan can jump in on this because I might miss some of them. Left bracket A is your altitude, where you can see the actual altitude that it is currently, like what you're going to be flying up to, or what the autopilot's set to. Left bracket Shift A will let you change it.
Yeah.
So same with like speed, right? Left bracket S
tells you what you set to. So this is not for people who are new. This is not. So right bracket S tells you your current speed. Maybe it says 260. Left bracket S is the speed that your autopilot is set to. So maybe it says 240. You're slowing down. Then you're trying to get to 240.
Yeah, and the thing is that people need to realize FS Tramp. It's actually, it shouldn't have been done the way that they did it. Is they lock you out of changing things with like TFM. So in the beginning, the way Tramp does it is they lock it, and if you don't go on them settings and actually change it, it will not change. You got to do it. Explain that a little bit, because I might be throwing people up.
No, you're absolutely right. So if you're on full auto with Tramp, this is M1 full auto, and you just are flying, you've not made any changes. If you try to enter a new value into TFM, so you've got A for altitude, S for speed, V for vertical speed, T for transponder, is it C for COM1?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm trying to think if there's any others. I might be missing them. Go on the TFM hotkey list.
X. There was an X too.
Okay.
I think that just changes your channels though. If you've got like COM1 and COM2 set, if you hit X, it'll bounce you between the two channels back and forth.
I don't know if that's a TFM thing or a SIM thing. I think it's a SIM thing. But either way, check on the hotkeys list and then you'll know for sure we haven't missed any. But so if you enter at a speed, for example, or a heading or an altitude, you won't be able to change it because Tramp will still have control. So the only way to do it is to enter a value for the specific setting into Tramp first. So if you want to change your altitude with TFM, ATC's giving you little step climbs. You got to do it once in Tramp, then you can do it in TFM. Obviously, this is only a temporary thing until Tramp is gone and we use TFM only. But that method of doing left bracket will do it right in the sim. It brings up a box. So it's simple.
And it's going to come in, once we no longer need Tramp, people are going to need, you're going to need to know how to use that, because that's going to be kind of, I guess you could alt tab to the, to the actual program, but it's much quicker. The thing I love is there's no delay. Absolutely no delay whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's, I love that. And now, they're working on the flight plan and stuff now, so that'll be coming out at some point where we can actually pull our flight plans in and see our SID and stars. That's really what Tramp's giving us now, right? Just our SID and stars, really.
It's just flying the flight plans for us. That's all. TFM is pretty much fully ready for monitoring purposes. So TFM is on the flight planning tab, and what's going to happen is, just like you can do with left bracket and hit a key, a Shift S, Shift A, whatever, to change values, we're going to have all the hotkeys. As things get added, they will have their own hotkey attached, so you can do that and you'll stay right there in the sim window. You're not going to have to leave the sim to do things if you don't want to. So. And
that'll make it nice. I know the other thing that I've done, just kind of playing around, you get your call outs as you're descending. It'll say, 2,500, 1,000 feet, 500, 4, 3, 2, 1, 50, all the way down to 10. If you ever want to change them sounds, maybe you don't want it to read you the call out for all them different, feet. All you gotta do is change it. Go into the TFM folder, and inside the sounds folder, that's where you'll find all your audio. You want to change something, change it. You can do that. You don't need the developer to actually change it. You can change it yourself.
Yeah, I know people have sometimes they've complained about the bracket, the left or right bracket sound. I don't mind it. I think it's fine. But if you want to change that, or you want to change the call outs to a Boeing pack or an Airbus pack or whatever, just go and change it. As long as you make sure you copy that same folder across when there's a new release, you'll be fine. And
I know I'm going to work on, like you said, I'm going to work on doing some different ones for Boeing and Delta and stuff like that. And then maybe once I get that stuff done, I'll put the packages up on the website. And if you're a member, you can download it. If not, you're going to need to register. Doesn't cost you anything, but we do want you to be signed up so that we can manage things. It's a lot easier to manage stuff when we know who we got and who we don't. So if you want to download, make sure you register at bvipilots.com.
So I think that was everything on TFM. The last thing we were going to mention was about FS Tramp. So as you know, 840 was a good version. It had everything we want. You can even use the external version. After that, I would not advise upgrading because, well, Johnny can explain. He had the problem, and a few others did too.
You will have problem after problem if you go above with the external version of Tramp. Now, if there's someone out there and they say, well, I've got 8.1 or 8.2 and it works fine, well, then you're lucky. You're lucky, and that's all it is luck. I can guarantee you, though, it's not because there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, because I think you managed to do a landing with 843 or something, didn't you? But it was very unstable. It was very bumpy.
Yeah, it was. I got lucky with that landing. Like the rating was good. My landing was, it wasn't horrible, but it was a really bumpy ride. Mm-hmm. And then it wanted to pick me back up. It wanted to do, it didn't want me to stop. I couldn't stop. I couldn't even with auto throttle off, I'm hitting F1. I'm pulling down on my throttle. I'm doing all this stuff. And Tramp's just doing what it wants. Luckily, I'd already got my rating for landing because it had gave me a really bad landing otherwise because it was trying to take right back off. And then I think when I closed it out, it kept repeating off ground, on ground, off ground, on ground.
Wow.
Yeah. So stick with the 8.0. Is that what it is?
840. 840.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
And the latest version is 845. So those versions after 840 aren't very good, and there's no point really trying them as they go along because 840 gives us everything we need. 840 is not actually available on the site. He took it down from the old versions section, so we still have it, and we will, if it's not already, we'll put it on BVI Pilots for safekeeping.
Yeah, because you might be stuck with the one after that, and if you are, get with us and we'll help you get it straightened out. We'll get that up there. I can't remember if we get that up there yet or if not, we will. We will,
yeah. If you can't find it, email and I can attach it. It's just a zip folder and it'll go on an email back to you, so that's fine.
Yeah, yep. So, again, do not use anything after 840. If you do, don't say we didn't warn you. That's all we can tell you because it's going to be a bumpy ride, people. You'll take off fine, but you ain't landing fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the last flight I did before I got rid of it, it had me coming down at 360 knots at 2,000 feet.
Oof, I didn't want to slow down then.
No. I didn't even let it land. I'm like, I don't even want to hear that landing. I'm exiting. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the new AirX cycle is out, so people know. 2011 is out, so make sure you grab that if you're still with 2010.
Yeah, it is out on the free site, so grab that. If you use that, obviously FS Aero data. If you use that, I don't because I don't like it, but if you do, then it's out for that. It's out for Navigraph. It's out on all the stuff, and that's going to be around till early to mid-November. So,
yep.
I think that's about everything, to be honest with you. So, we will see you.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But you know what? We'll hey, it's just the way it is. Some podcasts are better than others, but it's a guarantee that we're bringing you good information every time, though. We're bringing you
absolutely, yeah.
Facts, not just, oh, we're guessing that that's what that is.
Yeah, well, sometimes
So-
we think, oh, we want to include this, but say no, until we've tried it, we're not going to tell you about it, because, you know, we don't want people to try things that are going to be rubbish, or you know, go and buy something and then say, oh, this doesn't work, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, exactly. So, but it, you know, as always, it's good to be here with you guys. If you guys got any questions, Declan's going to give you that information here now, and we will talk to you guys real soon.
Yes, like Johnny said, bvipilotspodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter, BVI Pilots. Pretty much on all podcasting services, BVI Pilots podcast. So as long as you put in BVI Pilots wherever you're looking for us, we'll probably show up. And yeah, we will see you in 2 weeks. We're not sure exactly on the day that it's going to be, because of a few factors, but it will be pretty much uploaded. The podcast will be uploaded in about 2 weeks from now, next weekend time. So you have a good 2 weeks, and we'll see you in mid-October for the next podcast. Have a good time.
You guys take care.